Free Thought, episode 6. I'm a little frustrated right now, I'm not gonna lie. But it's okay. Cause, yeah, come in.
Did you kill Bud?
No, but you need to come in here and watch this.
Why?
So look, this is my sister. And she goes to public school. And yeah, if you're wondering, I live with my family. You know why? Because in America, especially in California, shit is expensive. And yes, I'm cussing in front of her because you know why? She needs to see how the mind of an American can function. Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
I wish that when we had to get stuff, we didn't really have to pay a lot of money for it.
Whew! You and me both. You know how much I put in my gas tank, and you know how much I got? I put $10 in the gas tank this morning, Faith.
Some people don't have a lot of money.
No, not some. A lot of people don't have a lot of money, especially in America. Okay, so it's...
What happens if people don't have any money?
They go broke, and some starve to death. Some lose their homes. You see those people on the side of the street?
I see a lot of people.
She sees a lot of people on the side of the street. You know why that happens? Because living in a house requires a lot of money.
Do some people say to some teenager that they have to leave?
Yeah. And they go into foster systems. And they get lost in the system. And you know what happens to them?
What?
A good percentage of them go to a place called jail. You know why?
No.
Because when they're 18, it's just off to the wilderness.
Maya is 18.
Yeah, but Maya has a family that loves her very much, that is blessed to give her shelter, food, and motivation to be the best person she can be. But not everyone has that. Like those people on the side of the street that you see.
Like the person who was in the house that he lived?
Yeah. And he messed up the house, huh? Destroyed it. You know why? Because he can no longer afford to live there.
No, he's not here anymore.
What? Oh, you talking about old dude that got his stuff and left?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why he's not here?
Why?
Because he was fucking worthless. And you see, sorry, you did not need to see that. But look, because in America, especially in households like this,
some people have to leave.
because you cannot eat up all the food, use all the water, freaking keep electricity on all hours of the night, and then expect people to take care of you. You know why? Because Americans need money for all the expenses that we use. And the government knows this, but they still tax us. Like, say you go outside, right? You gather a whole bunch of candy. But a government comes and takes 30% of your candy. Would you be upset?
Not really.
That's what's up. That is what's up.
Because I wouldn't really want that much. I just want a little bit.
Man, you feel me? But you have people who will complain about working and due to their money would say if that 30% gave to kids who didn't need all that candy. Wouldn't that be nice? Would you be fine giving 30% of your candy away to people?
I just want one piece of candy. That's it.
Wow, you're a very giving person. That's what's up. So, what we have to deal with though, now, say if your candy needed to fill up a jar, right? It still has to fill up this jar to 100%. But now 30% of your candy's gone. So you only have 70% of candy. But you can't just fill up that jar. You have to fill up, let's say, you have to give, yeah, you have to fill up 2 jars. So you can't fill up but you have to fill them both to 100%, but you only have 70% of candy. So that means you got to split 35 and 35%. So you're almost over a quarter of the way there.
Wait, hold on. Can I actually? This is what I would do.
Yeah.
This is what I would do.
What would you do?
If I had 2 candies in a jar that was full, I would get another candy in a jar and I would give it to other people.
So that's a good heart. See, kids, they kind of get it. They haven't been corrupted by the views of America and what greed is. And
some people share, some people just hog stuff.
Yeah. Like in this country, guess what?
What?
A small percentage of people that live here own most of the wealth.
Like, I actually said, this person at school, he doesn't do his work and he doesn't even listen, so he doesn't learn anything at school.
And still people like that make it. Who don't work as hard as you, who don't put in the time as you, and they'll still somehow find a way to the top. Because you know what happens? Listen, I want you to listen to this, okay? So a small percentage of people in this country own 80% of the wealth. Mm-hmm. So that means they have their own home, land, stocks, bonds, and resources that our family isn't so privileged to have. A lot of those family members were born into that wealth that can go down the line of many generations of their family. They didn't work for it. They were just born into it. They didn't have to pay attention in school. They didn't have to read or learn how to read like you're learning how to do. They could have been the most illiterate people in the world, and they would still be the richest. Do you think that's fair?
Not really.
Who cares? At the end of the day, they're still going to have it, Faith. That's not the question. So, in America, we have problems that most of us are in debt. You see how high gas is? Do you think jobs care? That's a rhetorical question. They don't. You just got to get to work on time.
Maya gets to work on time all the time.
Because I take her. Because Maya doesn't make enough to afford her own car. Because her job doesn't pay her enough. Her job doesn't pay her enough for get her own house. Her job doesn't pay enough to even supply her own self of living. She can't pay bills on her own. She can't get food on her own. She can't do all three of those things. She can't get a car and fill it up with gas on her own. No offense to her. It's not because she's not doing what she's supposed to do. She works her butt off, right? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, we have things called living salaries. And the government doesn't care who doesn't meet it or not.
Is there some people... I know there's a lot of people that don't have money because they don't really... I was going to say that they really don't do anything.
Some people try, Faith. Now, I'm not telling you this to be anti-American or be this freaking socialist activist or whatever. It doesn't really matter. What I'm telling you this is a reality that some people face, okay? This reality that people have is, it's tough. It's real tough because America is a capitalist system. So what that means is you have to go out and get your own candy. And sometimes you may get all of the candy. And some people, they want some candy too, but they don't have the same opportunities to get as much candy as you.
I will share mine.
That's good. Not everybody else would share.
Some people just like to hog their things instead of sharing. I only have one person at this school that they like to hog their stuff.
And a good percentage of people hog a lot of stuff.
And they ask, can they use it because they don't have any pencils or markers or anything to do this. So that's why they ask the other person. Some people say yes, some people say no. Mm-hmm.
It's an unfortunate thing, but the older you get, the more you'll see a good supply of people who have a lot of things who will still hog it. And for some reason, the older we get, in this country at least, some people get more in that mindset.
I was going to ask a kind of weird question.
What's up?
It might kind of be weird, but I was going to say, who made, this
country?
Yeah.
Who made it? A lot of people. I'm going to give you that because that's just the simplest way to tell you. But many people...
Did people make every single country and city?
Yeah. It's a formation of people that work in a collective mindset that have this one singular idea to build things together. So they build infrastructure like water, electricity, heat. They have stores that supply us with food.
I know, at school we're talking about inventions at school.
Yeah, that's good. Inventions.
We only did 3 things about inventions. I said 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
A stoplight, a light bulb, and I forgot what was the last one.
Probably the television.
It was a light bulb, and a stoplight, and...
the AC.
Yeah.
Those are good things. You're in the public school system. And that's different. It's a system that's overwhelmed
Are
with
there
kids.
some grown-ups that don't know how to read or do anything?
I wouldn't say do anything, but there are some grown-ups who don't know how to read. I know, right? It's crazy.
That's weird.
It's life for some people. Like I say.
I was did the sky, I was gonna ask kind of a weird question. Who made the
Sky.
Yes.
Uh,
If we did have sky,
it would be nothing. It would be nothing. Okay, so
I
the
did
sky.
ask a weird question.
Okay, the sky is made by a process. Let's say that. Okay.
But how do you make the sky?
We didn't make the sky.
I know, but I'm just saying the people.
The sky is made by a certain sense of chemical reactions.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So we have atmosphere here that gives us air, and it keeps things out. And when the heat comes, that sky that you see and all its layers helps keep the planet warm. Why? So we can have what's called oxygen and turn that into carbon, which helps plants grow.
Are spaceships real?
Yeah, they're very real. They're very amazing too.
I always want to go up into space.
Me too.
There's a lot of places where I want to go, but we just can't go all the time.
Because we don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
To like that, we don't have a lot of money. I'm not.
There's a lot of places that I see that other people
But we
go.
will. You have to have that motivation here. And that's one thing this country does. It gives people hope. It gives people reason to keep going. For some reason, people are very ambitious. Even if they're the poorest of the poor, they don't have any money. Their lights are off. Their electricity's off. They don't have any food in the fridge. Haven't eaten in 2 days. For some reason, this country still breeds ambition. And ambition is just motivation to move forward. Like, I want to do something.
Wait, hold up. I'm keep on asking weird questions.
No, it's fine. No question's weird, but it's cool.
I was gonna say who made I was gonna say it starts with a P.
What?
People.
Who made people?
Yeah.
That's another process. Now, you'll get many answers to this, okay? But to help for you to analyze it and to not put an idea in your head, but to put a certain philosophy in your head and say, stick to that, I want you to learn on your own. So, people came through a process. Okay, so obviously the earliest people didn't look like you and me. They probably looked a bit more hunched, probably a lot bit physically stronger and durable. Because the life they had to live now that we live, they didn't. They didn't have this comfort. So those people had to be hardened, but those people replicated themselves. And they started thinking. So when they started thinking, they started developing comforts. Fire, homes, shelter, hunting food, cleaning food, growing food, clothes, books, teachings, schools, and now we're here where we're at. That kind of helps you a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. I was gonna ask who made houses. I was gonna ask what our house is made of. They're made out of wood.
Not all of them.
I know.
Yeah.
Some of them are, but not all.
Yeah, but houses typically are made out of wood. Then they put plywood, paint, bricks, steel.
Some woods are colorful. Some walls are colorful. Some are just white or black
Mm-hmm.
or gray.
Yeah.
Ours walls are white.
Yeah. That's the thing, Faith. You're growing. So you're going to start noticing a lot of things and getting your own ideas in your head. I want you to do that. Some people want to put a certain philosophy in your head and stick to that. I'm not that type of person. One, I'm not your father, so I'm not going to do that to you.
Wait, hold up. I just want to know who made a lot of stuff. That's all I want to know.
I mean, put it simple, people will say God, a creator, the Big Bang, it's infinite. You can't really tell. Some people will say evolution. To me, personally, I say some of those things.
There's a dark area.
It's cool. Hold on. I got you. So, yeah.
I was gonna ask who made chargers because my teacher told me, you know those little things that you put in a computer? It's not a charger, it's those little side things.
The little ports, those little things with a...
Yeah, the little things where you get to save the things, and yeah, that's what my teacher told me today.
Yeah, it's called a... Oh, dang, I forgot what it was called.
Me too. We was just talking about it this morning at school, and I always forget that what we talk about at school.
Yeah, so I think a USB port. No, it's not a USB port. It's actually flash drive. Flash drive.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's called. Flash drive, yeah.
That's the word that we had,
Yeah.
and it had all these pictures.
Mm-hmm. Those are pretty important. They keep information, which is important for us as humans to need.
Can you put them in phones and TV?
Yeah, if they fit. So, yeah. Those are things we need as humans.
I wasn't saying who made books?
Who made books? Now, a good question. But people started needing to record things. Why? Because they realized they had children. And these children were going to have other children that may not have learned what their past generations did. So the only way they can keep track of that is by writing it down. So there are many people who invented many different forms of writing. You have the Nubians, the Egyptians, the West Africans. You have the Greeks, the Romans, and so on and so forth. The Phoenicians, all these people from long time ago.
Wait, hold up. I was going to say the place where the pyramids are. I forgot.
Egypt.
Is that real?
Yeah. It's pretty amazing, too, from what I hear.
I've never seen it before.
You want to see it? We'll go. Okay?
There's a lot of places where we say we're go. And I'm just thinking, when are we going to go and how are we going to go?
Because we don't have a lot of money, huh?
That's what I'm worried about.
And a lot of people have that same
The
word.
mummy's real.
Yeah. People are mummified all the time. They're still mummified. Not like, but like they're in coffins and they're mummified to preserve them.
Every time when I watch something,
Mm-hmm.
I always see sometimes they're in Egypt and I see a mummy and they always have both of their arms up chasing other people. That's all I see.
Yeah.
And I know that's not true.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. We never seen it.
How do they walk?
Mummies don't walk. That's TV. Those are shows. That's movies. That stuff.
No, I know. I'm just saying, do they just stay in there forever or what?
Yeah. They're preserved. It was the way that they preserved the human body back in those days.
That's
Mm-hmm. So we'll get money. Why? Because like I said before, this country makes people very ambitious. Even though it has all these other obstacles that people have to get through.
There's so many places where we'll go. It's just that sometimes they're kind of far and we can't go.
Yeah, I know.
Can you go to a lot of places on a train?
Yeah.
I think I'd rather go some places on a train instead of on an airplane.
Why? Because it may be safer.
Yeah, instead of on an airplane.
Why? Are you scared of it crashing?
No, I'm just saying because every time when we start to go down, my ears always
Pop.
Yeah, that's why mom always eats gum when she's.
Yeah. I don't know why people do that, but I heard it's something with your ears. But planes, they get us further than trains.
Yeah.
They get us across the water.
Yeah. Wait, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, do they get us? Do they get up past a lot of places?
Mm-hmm.
Last time when we went to North Carolina, it was the same thing.
The plane went up, went down, your ears pop.
Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I act like I've never been on a plane before. I have. There's a lot of things that I haven't been on.
You will. You just have to say you will. Because the moment you deny anything, say I can't do something, your mind accepts that. Your body accepts that. Your heart accepts that. Your spirit accepts that.
Wait, can I ask you something? How come the place where we went to when we went to the station when we went to go do our bags and that stuff? I forgot the how come LA is not that far from here?
Because we live in the west coast of America, California.
Oh,
So it's just our geography. It's just where we're located.
there are some places that are close to us, some places are not.
Like New York in America, but very far.
I've never seen New York before.
Do you want to?
There's so many places where I want to go.
Then you have to say, I'm going to go.
I know, but it's just that sometimes you have to go on a plane, sometimes you go on a train. I'd rather go on a plane.
To get to those far, far places.
Yeah.
So you got to say, are you going to go there? Say yeah if you want to.
Yeah. There's a lot of places where I want to go.
You got to hold on to that faith. That sense of imagination you have to hold on to that.
There's a lot of places that kids want to go when they're little, and then when they grow up, they're going to have to end up going.
Or they don't. But you going to end up going. I'm going to end up going. This family's going to end up going. You have to hold on to it. Because that's one thing about living in this country. You have to persevere.
Every time when somebody says food stamps, I don't get it when they say that. Is it money or what?
It's government assistance that some people need. And sometimes it's still not enough.
Oh, I thought it was just I thought it was a paper that had these food songs that you had to get. That's what I thought. I thought it was just these little pieces of paper.
Well, food stamps don't exist anymore. They're called EBT. And some people sell it to make ends meet. Because they have other things they have to pay. Because their job that they work at doesn't pay them enough money to make. To keep the lights on.
Who made cars?
Many people. The man who mass produced cars, his name is on my car.
He is?
Yeah, his name is on my car.
Did the same people who invented cars, did they make the same? Did they make the same cars or different color cars?
In the beginning, they made the same car. It was different colors though.
I remember when my teacher told me this.
And they went really, really slow.
I remember when my teacher told me this, that at first they had these big phones, and then they had a little phone, and then they had a phone big as your hand. Then my teacher told me that they had a little phone, and then they had a phone the same size as yours.
Yeah, these are all true things. The first
my teacher tells me
phone device, yeah, it was like you had to hold it, you had to do this, you had to crank it.
I remember my teacher.
And it went to an operator.
My teacher told me this big phone. It was kind of weird because when you would hold, because my teacher pretended like she was